For me, it's become increasingly important. I think it's important for Vera to think with a great deal of purpose and to organize its work very much around what justice means in a country that will be majority people of color.
Those communities who are collectively known as AMEMSA communities, that's Arab, Middle Eastern, Muslim, and South Asian. Here at Vera, you've been looking at the challenges and opportunities that exist in relations between those communities and local law enforcement. What did you find?
There's a lot of fear and mistrust, particularly in New York. When you hear reports of surveillance of students groups, you hear of profiling that's happening, you hear of mapping of communities, of cricket clubs, of social clubs, of community spaces, faith-based organizations. So this is why we launched our United Communities Project. We wanted to help local law enforcement and these communities work together in the spirit of community policing. There is this notion that community policing and homeland security cannot be mutually exclusive. They need to be integrated, and community policing needs to govern really what's happening when you're dealing with the community for any reason.
Some critics have said that municipal IDs, quote, aid and abet illegal immigration and perhaps terrorism. What's your response to that?
I know this debate has really honed in on the undocumented population, but I want to make it very clear that we're talking with municipal IDs, we're talking about runaways, we're talking about seniors, we're talking about people who are formerly incarcerated. We're talking about homeless folks. We're talking about transgendered community. We're really talking about a wide range of people who either don't have the documentation, don't have the means, or the access to apply for other types of documentation.
New Haven reported a 20% decrease in crime since the municipal ID was instituted, and they think that it has to do with the fact that immigrants feel more comfortable going to the police now with an actual ID.
Wage theft is really one of the worst crime waves in history, right? So it's true, $1 billion a year stolen from working families in New York City alone by their employers in the form of wage theft. The number of investigators at the New York State Department of Labor, which is the major entity charged with enforcement of wage theft, has plummeted. The Wage Theft Prevention Act, as I mentioned, made dramatic reforms in the penalties, made substantial reforms in protection against retaliation. So the next steps are, first of all, just real policing. We need to get boots on the ground for enforcement. The second thing is that we really need to start implementing zero tolerance in city and state licenses and contracts for wage theft.
So the City Council decided last year to fund a pilot program called the New York Immigrant Family Unity Project. Angela, tell us about the program and why your organization decided to get involved.
Detained immigrants in the United States do not have a right to counsel if they cannot afford an attorney, and that is a travesty. City Council, in its foresight, has decided to pilot the program at the cost of $500,000. What that does is that it funds 20% of the individuals that are detained right now. Already we have seen the benefits of this. Over 100 people have been represented. Over 20% of them have been immediately released. We need this program to be expanded, to be baselined and made permanent in the city's budget, so that every single New Yorker who finds themselves in this incredibly complex system, which is the detention and deportation system, actually have a fighting chance.
The things that we've outlined as our top priorities, which municipal IDs, obviously, as being the State of the City address was, these are part of our core values, and that's all. That's all administration has. This is not a poll, kind of finger in the air which way the wind is blowing administration. This is, going straight ahead with a clear vision.
Yes, let's give a hand to our panelists.